Well, voting got off to a slow start because of the weather. It was raining this morning and also the Berlin Marathon. But later in the afternoon, many people turned up at polling stations, and we were told that it looks like, as predicted, they will have a proper number of the voter turnout. You are aware that the population stands at more than 80 million, and in the registration, the voters roll, they have 60 million potential voters, and they are hoping that they will achieve a 70% turnout. And in 2 hours from now, not 2 hours, I think an hour and 30 minutes, the voting stations will close because they normally end around 6 p.m. in the evening, and counting will start immediately. But the exit polls are expected just before 7 tonight, and we will have an indication in terms of how different parties and different individuals at local level are performing. For example, they indicated that at 4 or at 16 hours, what they did was to give an indication to the parties. In other words, the political parties, as we speak, they are aware what's likely to happen in terms of the preliminary results. But those exit polls can only be announced after 6 o'clock, after the polling stations have closed. But people who are already in the polling stations will be allowed to continue to vote. Therefore, before 7, we might have an indication in terms of what's happening here in Germany, whether the right-wing party that is expected to be represented in parliament for the first time will indeed achieve enough percentage. They must reach a threshold of 5% for the party to have seats in parliament, whether they have done that. And I think if that has happened, then the reality is that the politics of Germany will never be the same.
Now, Sophie, Angela Merkel is regarded as the mother of 21st century Germany, as there is no other European politician apparently that can match her in terms of longevity, in terms of credibility. Now, she also oversaw Germany rising the economy at the fastest rate in 5 years. But then analysts predict that her party will not be getting an outright majority in parliament. What could be attributed to such a decline in support?
I think for quite a long time, Germany has been under the coalition government, and I don't see the trend changing this time around. Secondly, there's, I think, fatigue in terms of voters. You have a situation where she has been in power for 12 years, and if she gets another mandate this time around, it will be 16 years under Angela Merkel. And I think people are tired. They are hoping for something different that can perhaps speed up the changes, particularly in the countryside, in East Germany, where people are complaining, the young people, the pensioners, those who have lost jobs. And I think it's that kind of movement that can damage the constituency support of her party. And we are told that that is likely to happen. But secondly, the 2015 migration policy, or when the issue of refugees started, I think her pronouncement led to a situation where the Germans felt that she is more sympathetic to the refugees rather than the citizens of the country. And it's something that the right wing continuously used during the campaign. And on the other hand, you have the Socialist Party, that is in a grand coalition with her party, that is losing support because people feel that whatever she is doing, they support her pronouncement and her policies, and therefore the support for the second largest party has also taken a knock, and therefore it is very difficult. Even if CDU can win this election, or the elections, it's not going to be an outright win, and therefore we are again talking about a coalition, but this time around it can be a different coalition, not a grand coalition, or they will revert back to a grand coalition, but with the Socialist Party intending to perform better in the next election. Some are saying the best thing is for them to get out of the coalition.
Now, Sophie, the AfD, of course, has been saying that it will press for Angela Merkel to be severely punished for opening the door to refugees and migrants. What's the general mood in Germany with regards to that position, and will such a threat fly from the opposition?
You know what? It's very difficult. Yes, like in any country where people hold different views and see things differently, there are Germans who feel that Angela Merkel's policies on migration are not correct. There are those who are saying at the end of the day, Germany is part of the global world and you cannot discriminate against other nationalities, particularly people who are in a situation where they fled their countries because of violence and conflict. But the reality is the AfD, which is a right-wing party, is really using that issue to try and get support, particularly, like I indicated, that in East Germany, in the countryside, people are very, very disgruntled. Young people, the elderly, and because of they don't have jobs, there's no development, and they think there's no future, and they need someone who can come with a better offer or who can make changes, because for the past 12 years, nothing has happened to their area under Angela Merkel. But we'll see. We're counting hours, and we'll have an indication before 7 o'clock whether, in terms of the pushback, whether the Germans have decided to stop the right-wing party, or the right-wing party is able to turn the tide, and they, for the first time, will be represented in Parliament.
All right, Sophie, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But then thank you so much for our update. That is our foreign editor, Sophie Mokoena, speaking to us live from Berlin in Germany, wherein the German elections are currently underway, and we'll certainly be crossing over to her throughout the day for more updates on that story.